Two broken people. One television show watched by millions. And a love story the world was convinced would survive anything. From the outside, it looked unshakable. Red carpet smiles, playful teasing, perfectly timed laughter. Instagram photos glowing with happiness. Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani felt like proof that love could rise from heartbreak and bloom again in the most unexpected places. But behind the cameras, behind the applause and flashing lights, something fragile was slowly unraveling. Blake wasn't laughing the way he used to. The jokes still landed. The smile still appeared on cue, but it didn't reach his eyes anymore. Gwen stopped sleeping through the night. Friends noticed the dark circles, the quiet moments when she drifted off mid-conversation. Lost in thoughts she didn't share. And Kelly Clarkson, watching from just a few feet away in the next red chair, saw it all unfolding in real time. She didn't need anyone to explain what was happening. She had lived this story herself. She knew exactly where it was heading. No one, not even their closest friends, expected what came next. One quiet night in Oklahoma. Raised voices cutting through open fields. An argument so intense, neighbors still talk about it. A hospital admission that blindsided everyone. And a leaked voice memo just 92 seconds long that made the entire internet freeze. Replaying every word, trying to understand what had just shattered. I sold it. 3 whispered words spoken in a dark hospital room would change everything between them. But to understand how it all came apart, you have to go back to where it began. And trust this isn't the story people think they know. Before the headlines, before the speculation, before the voice memo that leaked and flipped public opinion overnight. Back to 2015, at the time. The Voice wasn't just a hit show, was the show. Blake Shelton sat in that iconic red chair, America's favorite country charmer, tossing out jokes and winning hearts with that easy Oklahoma drawl. He looked like a man who had it all figured out. He didn't. Behind the scenes, Blake was barely holding himself together. His divorce had exploded across tabloids in the ugliest way possible. Every magazine cover felt like a new punch to the gut. Headlines questioned his character, his loyalty, his worth. Some days, just showing up felt like survival. Then Gwen Stefani walked onto that set. The pop icon. The California girl with platinum hair, fearless style, and a smile that could light up stadiums. To viewers at home, she looked untouched by life's cruelty. She wasn't. Her marriage had ended in a way she never saw coming. Not in a million years. The betrayal had cracked her open quietly and deeply. And in one of the most unbelievable twists of the story, Gwen Stefani had never even heard of Blake Shelton before joining the show. One of the biggest country stars in America, and she had no idea who he was. Their first meeting wasn't magical. No sparks flying, no cinematic slow motion. Just 2 strangers, awkward and polite, sitting in spinning chairs while their personal lives crumbled behind the scenes. But long filming days have a way of breaking down walls. Somewhere between rehearsals and breaks, the small talk stopped. The cameras weren't rolling. The audience wasn't watching. And they started talking, really talking, about fear, about heartbreak, about how lonely it feels when the world thinks you're fine, but you're barely breathing. Blake later said Gwen kept him from sinking to the very bottom of his darkness. Those were his exact words. And Gwen didn't sugarcoat it. Either. She said Blake saved her life. 2 people drowning separately found each other in the middle of their storms. The world fell in love with them almost instantly. Their chemistry on A Voice became must-see television. Fans tuned in just to watch them flirt. The teasing, the laughter, the stolen glances when they thought no one noticed. Blake made Gwen laugh so hard she'd clutch her chair, gasping for air. It felt real because it was. But fame has a way of turning real love into a product. Producers saw ratings gold. Magazines wanted exclusives. Music executives pushed for duets. Their relationship stopped being something private, slowly became something to be sold. That's when the cracks started forming. The pressure never stopped. Be cute, be flirty, be perfect. Every single week. According to people on set, one rehearsal changed everything. A disagreement over creative direction spiraled fast. Voices dropped. The room went silent. Filming stopped. Someone described it as watching two people who loved each other deeply but were suddenly speaking completely different languages. And that was the truth. This wasn't about jealousy. It wasn't about betrayal. It was about who they were at their core. Gwen thrived on reinvention. Change fueled her. She had survived decades in an industry that discards women without warning. She pushed forward constantly new music, new fashion, new projects. Blake was the opposite. He found peace in routine, in quiet mornings, in dirt roads and open land. In his ranch, far from noise and chaos, he didn't want to reinvent himself. He just wanted to stay who he'd always been. What once balanced them began to pull them apart. Friends noticed it first. Gwen stayed in Los Angeles more. Blake stayed home. No explosive fights, just distance. Quiet, slow, like two boats drifting toward different horizons. Fans noticed too. Gwen stopped liking Blake's posts. Blake missed one of her Vegas shows, something he had never done before. The internet noticed immediately. Still, they smiled. Still, they posed. Still, they performed happiness until Oklahoma. Blake finished a grueling tour. Gwen wrapped weeks in the studio. The plan was simple: meet at the ranch, reconnect, just be two people in love again. But when Gwen arrived, something felt wrong. Conversations felt forced. The air felt heavy. Then she saw the message on Blake's phone. Not romantic. Not inappropriate. A professional message from a female collaborator. But after months of distance, it was enough. The argument exploded. Neighbors later said they heard shouting echo through the night air for a couple known for laughter. By morning, Blake was gone. Checked into a hospital for stress and dehydration. Those who saw him said it was far worse. When news broke, fans were stunned. Then came the photos: Gwen in Los Angeles at a fashion event, smiling for cameras while Blake recovered alone. The internet turned on her instantly. What they didn't see was Gwen breaking down behind closed doors, not sleeping, barely functioning, trying to hold herself together while the world judged her. Then the voice memo leaked, 2 seconds. Blake's voice sounded hollow, tired, broken, not angry, just defeated. The internet went silent, and then Gwen boarded a private jet. No entourage, who'd up? Tears falling. She walked into the hospital through a side entrance and stood frozen in the doorway. Blake looked small. Pale, she whispered 3 words. He reached for her hand. No fireworks, no miracle. Just honesty. Days later, the pastor who married them asked Blake one question. Can you forgive her? Blake said he already had. Forgetting would take longer. They didn't announce a comeback. They didn't perform reconciliation. They did the work. Therapy. Late-night calls. Hard conversations. Their fairy tale cracked open, but sometimes what grows from broken places is stronger than what came before. Because real love doesn't live in perfect photos. It lives in the dark. In choosing each other anyway. And maybe, just maybe, that's where hope really begins.